From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
What's up, world? It's the one and only Pop DBIC, the Primetime Capper, and it is time for the premier sports betting show, the Primetime Angles Live. And I'm feeling good. I'm feeling great. I hope you are feeling the same. We got ourselves some pretty good situations going on and everything like that. Well, up first, let's talk about the NBA Finals. As you know, last night, the Boston Celtics took care of their business last night and were able to win that game against the Warriors 116-100 last night. Jaylen Brown led the way for the Celtics last night too. I just say his name first because he is who I have pegged as my MVP for the finals and everything like that. And I know I chose against the Celtics last night, but you know that I have the Celtics winning the series. But I thought that this would be the Warriors' last little stand where they would get a nice little upset and have a lot of little, love this morning and everything like that. But really, what happened last night was the same game that's pretty much been the first two games. You got pretty much even first half between both teams, and then you get into the second half. Well, yesterday, let me take that back. Last night's first half did not go well for the Warriors. Third quarter, though, has been a godsend for the Warriors. The Warriors have actually outscored the Celtics by 40 in the third quarter, but when you come back around, the Celtics have outscored the Warriors by 20 points in the fourth quarter. So that's what this game comes down to. It's just a swing of momentum. But last night, everything was really all about, in all honesty, everything was all about the chemistry, great team defense of the Warriors last night. And the fact that you didn't get enough from the rest of the Warriors last night. So you had Clay, who I said would have over 19 and a half points. Yes, he had 25 last night. Curry had 31. So they supplied 56 points last night. But after that, that's pretty much the game right there. So where do you get your other 44 points from? You got 18 from Wiggins, and then you got 10 from Poole. Then everybody else was just throwing a couple buckets themselves. You only got 18 points off the bench last night as well, too. And then when you look at this key stat, you got a guy in here for 34 minutes, and we're going to talk about him in a second. 2 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 turnovers, and you foul out. And you're getting paid, well, what is it, $25 million a year to be a Uber-in talker and role player? So pretty much last night, the Celtics took care of their business. Their big three, Brown, Tatum, and Smart, they were able to get 77 points as a unit last night. Al Horford chipped in 11, so you have 4 starters in double figures last night. And then you also got 10 points, 10 like bonus points from Grant Williams, because Grant Williams scored 10 last night off the bench, but they only had 20 points off the bench last night. So the benches weren't really that big of a deal, but they weren't giving out that much time to bench players last night anyway. They only used 3 players like significantly last night. Pritchard was able to hit a 3 last night as well too. But when I look at the stats, when you look at everything at the end of the day, you have the Celtics, they won the field goal battle 48% to 46%, but the Warriors hit 15 threes last night, but the Celtics hit 13. So that's where that kind of evens itself out. But the one key thing, though, that could have helped the Warriors out a little bit if they didn't fall so far behind was they were shooting the free throw. They were shooting their free throws pretty well. You know, Boston shot 70% last night, but they could have been better, you know. And when I look at it, the key key factor to this one is 16 turnovers. But, the Celtics had 12, but still 16 turnovers for the Warriors as well. The Warriors just seemed very complacent last night. You would have thought you would have got more from a lot of those bench players that they have, but they just didn't. You know what I mean? So, all in all, the Warriors down 2-1 now. The Celtics, I'm not surprised with them winning last night. I just wanted to be a little cute, shake it up a little bit because, everybody was all over the Celtics last night. I just kind of want to shake things up a little bit, but this is good. This is really good. So let's go ahead and talk about the person that I was going to jump on right now, and that's going to be Draymond Green. I want to save this. I want to save it because I've been thinking about this for the past few days. Draymond Green brought up the 80s and the 90s in a presser the other day, and I think that he had some points a little bit, but I think at the end of the day, I think that his main focus needs to be winning the NBA championship in 2022. All right. He sounds like a guy who wish he was a part of that point in time of the NBA, but let me keep it real with you. Draymond Green was a uber college player, but guys like him in the 80s and 90s would have never made it to the NBA. They would have probably been able to go play football, play tight end for a few years on an NFL team, a couple practice squads. But the thing is, though, they always say, oh, no, he could fit. But I'm just like, you didn't need that many people having to be your enforcer. And Draymond Green was a guy with a great skill set that pretty much helped out. It's like this. And we're just going to have a little fun with this. When you look at Clay and Steph, you think about the DeBarge brothers and things like that. But when you bring in a Hershey chocolate brother like Draymond Green, he gives the high yellow brothers some confidence. If he got your back talking a bunch of shit, and saying he'll fight for you. So that gives these guys a little bit of confidence too. But that doesn't mean he's a tough guy. And I think that the mentality that he had coming from Michigan State, that's their mentality, to play hard, be aggressive, be tough. You know what I mean? But I think that he's so busy worried about who was tougher back in the day and who was more physical back in the day. And he's trying to compare himself to people that you can't compare yourself to. The NBA is in a different situation now where the refs call a lot more fouls than they used to. Okay. And the refs are very ticky-tack in a sense. And I think that Draymond Green has just done a great job of talking. That's all it is. I know that he gets in there, he gets dirty, he gets down to business and everything like that. But that's how guys like him stick around in the league, because he has to hustle. But last night he didn't do any of that. Last night he was just running up and down the floor. He has 2, 4, and 3. That's awful, dude. I don't care. That's not worth $25 million a year. It's not. I don't care how well you talk trash. That is not the reason why the Warriors got 3 championships in 6 years. Let's just keep it real. That's not the reason why, okay? The reason why they got these championships is because they got a great overall team with the right type of chemistry. And I think that Draymond Green's best time with this team was their first ring. And since the first ring, he's had kind of an ego about, I'm Rodman and I'm Oakley and I'm all these guys that you're not. You're not these people, because they played with a different mentality and they did not talk as much as him. Okay? They went out there and showed up on the court night in and night out. They might have not have scored a lot of points, but they would make their impact felt on the game. I don't get that with Draymond. I just think that they like to talk about him a lot because he's a guy that's can't wait to get into the booth to try to be Charles Barkley. Okay? That's all he's aiming for, and that's all he's doing right now. At the end of the day, I think that he's just stealing money from the Warriors, to keep it honest with you. You can't have one good game every 4 or 5. Yeah, you do a good job hitting your little shots, get a little rebounds here and there. You bring the ball up. You do all the little things. That's great, but you're just a high-end role player. Don't take yourself so seriously, because you're taking away from the goal. You're making it more about you and less about the team. Nobody really cares about how you feel about the 80s and 90s basketball. You weren't there. You weren't a part of it. You don't really know what the hell you're talking about, okay? It's a different league. They did not play zone defense back then. They did not give you guys extra outs on defense. They didn't do any favors for you on defense, okay? You had to play some defense. I know Draymond would have been able to keep up with some people in the NBA, but all in all, he's great for this league because they needed a guy like this for this league because he was missing for a long time. Now, when you got guys, but when they don't contribute and don't do anything to help the cause to help you win the game, then they're worthless, in my opinion. So if Draymond's ready to go ahead and become a talking head in the booth, good for him. But I would say this, though. Just know this. I would not be surprised if the Warriors were to move on from Draymond Green, even if they win this series, okay? Win or lose. I just think that maybe they might even know that time is up because the guy, you can get so much more out of so many more players in the NBA. Yes, I know that he can get some rebounds. Yes, I know he can block some shots. Yes, I know he can lock up he can lock up a few guys in the NBA, like lock them up. But at the end of the day, and then he can play head games with you. But is that really work? At the end of the day, was that going to keep the Warriors in the finals? I think we all know how the Warriors got to the finals this year. Injuries were a good reason why they got there. And it's showing up right now in the finals because they're playing against a team that ain't got no significant injuries right now. So they're actually taking them to the woodshed like they did, like they did in the fourth quarter game one and like they did last night. I just think that Boston is the tougher, more physical team, and they got the ascending stars, and you got the descending, you got the stars that are starting to show their age a little bit. Yes, Steph was great last night, but you can tell that these guys are peaking. So there it is. Draymond, is he helping or is he hindering the team? At this point, he is a hindrance. So I would say if I'm Steve Kerr, I'm going to have to ask for more from Draymond, or I can go ahead and ask for more from somebody like Jonathan Kuminga or somebody like Otto Porter Jr. And then maybe he'll realize that it's about the team and not about your media career after your career is over. Okay, so it is what it is at the end of the day. And yeah, I know Draymond fans will probably say that I'm hating, but hey, it is what it is at the end of the day. The guy is just not doing what he's supposed to be doing, in my opinion. And he can be better. That's the whole thing. That's all I'm saying is that he can be better. I've seen Draymond be better, and I just think that it's just a real hindrance to his team right now. So let's go ahead and talk about Steph's injury last night real quick. Steph got rolled up on by Horford last night. Nothing was on purpose, Warriors fans. Every time a Warrior gets hurt, they feel like, oh my God, it's they did it on purpose. And then every time they hurt somebody, oh, that was basketball. Warriors fans are absolute jokes to me, dude. I'm going to keep it real with you because these are the same people that I can be like, name anybody from the 2003 team. And I won't get an answer. They probably won't even know who the best player on that team was. Okay? Now, the Warriors and the way that they're showing, the way that they approach Steph's injury, this is about to be an excuse because Steph is good. He doesn't need an MRI or anything like that, but he's going to be hurting for the rest of the playoffs. And that when they lose the series, they're going to say, "Oh, Steph was hurt. Oh, they couldn't play because Steph was hurt." It doesn't matter if Steph can be healthy, and I still think they can win the series. Because I think the Warriors are a past tense team. I think that they ran their dynasty out very early. And this feels like, to me, they're not going to win. I don't feel like they can win 3 in a row, but possibly they could. This feels like when the Bulls were becoming of age and they were about to beat the Lakers. And then also the funniest part about last night was this, is that once again, back to Draymond just a little bit for a second. Once again, we had an issue last night where fans weren't being too nice about talking about Mr. Green. So now we have the same situation we had in 3 other series with the Warriors where the fans need to be controlled a little bit better because we lost tonight and we didn't like the way that they were talking trash to us. All right. Well, let me tell you one thing. This is what separates the Lakers and the Warriors' legacy all the time. We are used to the Boston fans being who the Boston fans are. You'll never hear a Laker family member come out and say they were being too mean. They were cussing in front of my kids last night. Dude, this is Boston. Boston is the hardcore NBA hollow ground. They have the most championships ever. They're going to treat you the way that they want to treat you. If you want to go get crumpets and tea and all that good stuff, then you need to go down the way over to Providence somewhere and hang out at a recreation center or something like that. You are in Boston, and the Lakers have dealt with way worse than the Warriors will ever deal with. So that's the difference between when your team is successful for 50 for damn near 70 out of the 75 years of the league, and then your team is successful for maybe about 30 of it. You know what I mean? So that's the difference between, the great teams and the teams that are just for right now. So I really feel like Steph, he's going to be a little bit more ginger, things like that. But will it be serious enough to affect them? I don't think it's serious enough because I already think Boston's the better team. So it is what it is at the end of the day. So we move forward. Let's go ahead and talk about our last topic when it comes to the finals, and that's going to be about these two fellas right here, Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. These guys went for 50. They went ahead and got themselves as a duo last night. They went and got 51 points last night as a duo last night. That was absolutely incredible for those guys. Actually 53. I'm so sorry about that. But these guys, they played their asses off last night and well-deserved. And they had to send the message and show the nation that they are the toughest, they are the best duo in the NBA. When it comes down to Brown and Tatum, the Boston Celtics landed gold mines because the Boston Celtics got these guys as 2 top 3 picks. The Boston Celtics were actually a team that just were fortunate enough to trade at the right time. That trade with the Brooklyn Nets is the golden goose. It's the golden piece because the Nets weren't good for those few years, and they were able to. And it's funny because the Celtics were able to fall into those positions. They were playoff teams in both the seasons that they got Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. And it's crazy because the come up is so right. And I just think that it's a coronation now when you think about it. I know that I might be jumping ahead because I said this series does end in 6, but I don't think Boston loses the game at home now. I just don't, because they're already in the Warriors' head. If you're already complaining about this part of the series, then, it sounds like the Lakers back in 84. As soon as Boston checked that chin, here came some excuses. And once the excuses start filing out, you can see that this team is soft. And I think Boston's going to take advantage of the Warriors being soft because they've done it to every single team they've ever beat in the finals. Is figure out what the weakness is and how can we get into their mental, and boom, there it is. So I think that these guys are on a collision course. They're in an MVP race with each other as well, too. I still favor it more to Jaylen Brown because when Jaylen gets going, the rest of the team gets going. But we all do know Tatum is the guy that when you need to have a guy score quick 5, 6, 7, 8 points and go ahead and play some good and have some good one-on-one individual matchups, there goes your guy right there, Jason Tatum. So all in all, man, I would say that this is beautiful stuff that's going on in the NBA right now. You got the Celtics up 2-1. And tomorrow I'll go ahead and I'll break down my preview for game 4. What are the keys to victories for both sides tomorrow as well, too. But it is rare to see a duo like Brown and Tatum get along so well, not worry about who's going to get the more money, not worry about who wants to run their own team. They've been taught well by the Boston elders on how to be great teammates and just get to the end cause, and that's win championships. All right, so with that, we're going to go ahead and take a quick commercial break, and when I come back, we'll go ahead and we'll get into the MLB, so you guys stay tuned. This is the Premier Sports Betting Show, the PrimeTime Angles Live, with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the PrimeTime Cappers.
Good News Only Racing Club, led by the legendary Doug O'Neill, the trainer of 2 Kentucky Derby winners, and I'll have another in Nyquist. Also trained 2-time Breeders' Cup champ Golden Sense, who are just a part of a long list of thoroughbred champions trained by Doug O'Neill. The Good News Only Racing Club has a young core of horses to look out for in Dennis's Celery, Irish Heatwave, and Notre Dame, just to name a few. Win the day every day with the Good News Only Racing Club, a proud sponsor of the NFL Bet Exchange.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
Tune into Big Wave Boxing every week with a brand new guest with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the PrimeTime Capper, getting the best boxing stories, best boxing angles, and the truth when it all comes down to the sweet science. Tune in to Big Wave Boxing on the Prime Wave Media channel on YouTube.
All right, we are back, and let's go ahead and jump into some baseball, man. And let's talk first about Joe Girardi. Joe Girardi got fired. How you get fired, man? Well, it's easy. He got fired because simply he underachieved. Joe Girardi was supposed to be way better than that, right? He won a World Series with the Yankees, but he was removed by the Yankees as well, too. You know what I mean? It's not like Girardi was – to me. Girardi took advantage of having A-Rod, CC Sabathia, Derek Jeter. All right. That's and wins and barely won that World Series at that, too. Because, the Phillies were the defending champions. The Phillies were tough coming into the series as well, too. But I think that the Yankees having all that star power and all those great players that needed to win a championship to solidify their careers, they won that because of them. You know what I mean? And Joe Girardi, yeah, that was great. You were part of the Yankees that won later in the 90s and things like that. You were like Joe Torre's bench coach and all this good stuff. But does it matter when you get to the next team? I think that I think it's been a total bust since Girardi got there, since Harper got there. This team has not played up to the potential that they're supposed to be. I think that they put Harper in a contract that they know that they're going to get out of within the next 5 years as well, too. You got a team that's 9.5 games back right now. So Philly, the biggest problem is they're 27 and 29. And the moment that they got rid of Girardi, they've won 6 in a row. They're a much better team now. You know what I mean? They dropped 6 in a row, and it has to be something that was going on in the dugout. It just has to be. You know what I mean? Because they've won their last 6 in a row. Girardi's gone. They're playing better baseball, but that's because everybody's been put on notice too. Because that means that they've been talking to people in the locker room telling them that you might not be here much longer either. And I know you like Philadelphia and everything like that, but we can't send you to Siberia, aka I don't know what, Tampa Bay, Arizona, Colorado. Let's add on Detroit. Pittsburgh. Do you want to go somewhere where you're not going to be even think about going to the playoffs this year? All right, so I think that the Phillies are in a good situation now because Girardi I don't think that it was a good fit. I never thought it was a good fit, to be honest with you. And I think that now they got a guy in place that is going to understand how to move these parts a little bit better. And I think that the Phillies, if they don't start winning, they're going to start shipping off these guys that are eating up a lot of his payroll because you got to understand, they got to pay Harper a lot of money, man. They really do. So the Phillies playing better baseball, but I just think that Joe Girardi, the firing came kind of premature, but it was inevitable at the same time, too. The Phillies are supposed to be way better than this. At this point in time, the Phillies should not be 9.5 games behind the Mets, but they are. So it is what it is at the end of the day. And we move forward. Let's talk about Joe Maddon being fired now. Joe Maddon was in the midst of a 12-game losing streak before he got fired. And, they were in first place for a while. So that means that the 12-game losing streak. So that means they was up 3 games as well, too. So, all right. So they missed out on the game so they have been absolutely dreadful. And they did fire him the other day, actually. They fired him right before this series started. So it's not been good this week against Boston. They've lost now 15 in a row. It looks like, let me go ahead and do the right math. Okay, they lost 6 in a row to end the month of May. And then they went ahead and lost another. Yeah, it's pretty bad. They've lost 14 games in a row, okay? And I think that right now that they're looking for any type of fix. And I think that Moreno got rid of him because simply is because at the end of the day, the Angels have a roster that should be much better than what it really is. The Angels should be at least playing for the wild card. You know what I mean? They got Mike Trout, the best player in all of baseball. They got Rendon, guy who was an absolute monster on his way to a 2019 World Championship. So it just they don't have any excuses anymore. You know, Pujols was old. I understand that part. You didn't get much out of him, but you kind of ruined him as well too. So the Angels, to me, are just in a real stuck position. Like, I don't know what they're gonna do next. That's my whole thing with the Angels. Is like, what is there to do? Like, how y'all do you think that going after free agents is still really a good idea, or do you want to just do what you guys did in the '90s, build up the farm, put some things together, maybe get a free agent or two as the years go along, things like that? Because I don't know. Because if I'm a top baseball player and I want to play in Southern California, I ain't got no, and I know that it's going to be my only options the Angels or something to play for, then I might have to just be like, you know what, I'll just go to Arizona. It's hot. It's hotter down there. But you know what? Maybe they might put something together that I want to be a part of because the Angels just keep underachieving. And I feel bad for their fans. I don't even know why people are still rooting for them. So pretty much the Angels, y'all got to get together. But I think this came at it's kind of a premature firing in a sense. But Artie Moreno is a guy that really is really keen on winning because you have to understand he bought the team after they won the World Series. All right. He got them after the fact. He didn't this Disney got all the World Series celebration party attention, and then they sold the team. And Artie Moreno has been promising himself a World Series since he bought the team. He's done everything that possible to separate the Angels from the Dodgers and make them the team of Orange County as well too. They already were, but now they officially are the team of Orange County. People will not go past the 5 with the blue Dodger jersey on. So pretty much it is what it is at the end of the day. And the Angels have gotten rid of Joe Maddon. So hey, you look at these things and you tell yourself, that's just baseball though, right? That's just baseball, right? So pretty much let's get to but baseball, they really don't fire the managers this early in the season. But I think that it was just something going on in the dugout. And I just don't think that they were seeing eye to eye anymore, Girardi or Maddon, with the general managers and the people that run the front office. It's just that simple. So we got Blue Crew Daily and the Dodgers, the Dodgers over here. Dodgers just got done, just snapped a 3-game losing streak. They've actually lost their last 5 out of 8 games as well too. So pretty much they had lost 5 out of 7 and snapped the 3-game losing streak last night. White Sox, they're going on. The game's actually going on right now as we speak. So that third game is going on. Let's see what the score is for real quick. The score of that game is 0-0. It's the bottom of the third, but they do have the White Sox do have a runner on third base right now as we speak. So the Dodgers right now, they're 2 games behind the Mets for the best record in the NL, but they are still just keeping the Giants they're keeping the Padres off their heels. Padres got off to a really bad start this season, but they've picked it up and they quietly have won a lot of games and they've quietly put together a nice little consistent winning pattern in a sense. You know what I mean? They had a great month of May after having a really bad April. You know what I mean? Yeah, they had a really good month of May, but really they had a great April as well too. April probably was a little bit better, but all in all, I think that they are a game and a half back. They were able to gain ground on the Dodgers because the Dodgers have just went through their little losing streak right now as well too. And that was pretty good. They won 2 out of 3 against the Mets. So, they took advantage of it. The Dodgers split with the Mets. So, they got a 4-gamer coming up with the Rockies. The Rockies been struggling a lot lately, but what's new with the Rockies? What's new? You know what I mean? Because the Rockies, that's what they do. They struggle, So they've lost 5. They've dropped 6 out of 8 this month. So, pretty much this will be a series where they'll probably overbet the Padres a lot, and it's going to wind up being an issue. Dodgers this weekend, though, they have to go ahead and go against the Giants, who are 5.5 games back. Giants don't have the same touch that they've had over the last year or two, but last year they weren't supposed to do much. So they did play over expectations in a sense. This year, they're playing to what their expectations are. You thought it was going to be more Giants, Dodgers, breathing down each other's throat, but it's not. But you got a team that's dropped at this point right now before they start the game today. They're 3-4 this month, okay? And they've actually are 2-2. They're actually in there. It's a weird situation because 2 out of 3, then 2-2. That's how it goes, man. You know what I mean? So they started off the month losing, but Colorado came into town, so they did decent against them. They split it up in a sense against Miami and Colorado. Now they got the Dodgers coming in for the weekend, and the Dodgers got a 3-game set, and it's going to be huge because Saturday is going to be a Fox game, so that should be big. And I'm surprised that they're not putting the first game on. I'm surprised they're not putting that first game on that Sunday game on ESPN for the night game. So Giants Dodgers, it's going to be a good weekend for that. I'll go ahead and I'll break down tomorrow's matchup for that. But today we just got the game going on. We're in the third inning. Let's see how it goes. Let's see how it shakes out. But with that, we're going to go ahead and take another quick commercial break. And no. What we're going to do is we're not going to take a commercial break. We're going to talk about the best teams in baseball real quick. And that's going to be the Yankees and the Mets. And the Yankees and the Mets, the Yankees right now, 40 wins, 16 losses. Mets, 38 wins, 21 losses. But the funny thing about the Mets have actually lost their last, 3 out of 5? 5 out, yeah. So the Mets, they kind of run into, they're even. They're about even right now because they went 2-2. So they're 3-4 over there on their little West Coast trip that they had. So, they still got a 7-game lead, and the Yankees are literally running away with the East right now. They got a 6.5 game lead, but they're playing a lot of back and forth between Tampa and Toronto, and Boston is in 4th place. Boston's 10.5 games back. Boston, I would say this, doesn't have a chance to catch the Yankees this year. They could possibly catch the other 2 teams in front of them, but not the Yankees though. And the Yankees got the Twins tonight. So that's another, and they've had the Twins all week. So I just wanted to let you guys know it's best for baseball when you have these New York teams playing really good baseball, because that means that people will be watching and there will be more news about baseball as well too. Now, we all know my ultimate baseball playoff for me is Dodgers playing the Mets in the NLCS, then playing the Yankees in the World Series. So there's a possibility of both of those things happening this year. So hopefully that will come to fruition. But this is great for baseball that the Yankees and Mets have the best records in baseball, because baseball is a big chatter, a big talk in New York City, in the East Coast as well too. So I know every day is a different day where we got somebody trying to give out some managerial advice, something of that nature. You know how us fans are crazy about these sports. So there it is, Yankees Mets, best record in baseball. It is great for baseball right now as well too, and this will be one of the more hyped up matchups when they do meet up this year as well too for the Subway Series. Queens versus the Bronx. All right, so now we'll go ahead and take a quick commercial break. So when you guys get back, we'll go ahead and we'll get into Talkin Tickets. So you guys stay tuned. This is the premier sports betting show, the PrimeTime Angles Live.
Now you and your friends can compete in the sport of kings and win big with Stable Duel. Get the app, pick your horses, and get in on the thrill of horse racing with daily games competing against other players. Bring home the glory and the cash, and move up the annual leaderboard while you leave your competition in the dust. Get in the game with Stable Duel. Play, race, win.
Good News Only Racing Club, led by the legendary Doug O'Neill, the trainer of 2 Kentucky Derby winners, and I'll have another, and Nyquist. Also trained two-time Breeders' Cup champ Golden Sense, who are just a part of a long list of thoroughbred champions trained by Doug O'Neill. The Good News Only Racing Club has a young core of horses to look out for in Dennis's Celery, Irish Heatwave, and Notre Dame, just to name a few. Win the day every day with the Good News Only Racing Club, a proud sponsor of the NFL Bet Exchange.
All right, we are back, and let's go ahead and jump into our final segment of the day, and that's going to be Talkin Tickets. And I know y'all love this because today we got ourselves a 65-1 ticket. We only got one ticket, no WNBA today, so we only got one ticket. So here it is. Here it is. Our MLB PrimeTime PK6 today. 65-1 is going to look like this. We got the under with the 8.5 with the Nats and the Marlins today. I like the Indians today to go ahead and look pretty good at home and get themselves a win by 2 or more runs today with the 1.5. We're getting about plus 130 on that bad boy as well too. Then our dog of the day is going to be the Pirates. The Pirates are going to be plus 210. They're kind of in a tough spot today, but I think that they can go ahead and surprise, shake up some things and beat the Braves today. I know Freed is on the mound, but still, I don't like to sleep on this Pirates team. When they get hot, they get hot. So they do have a little affection for the long ball. So that's what I'm taking advantage of today. So I'm taking the Pirates with the plus 210 today. Also, we have the over 8 with the Yankees and the Twins. And also, I'm going to throw this one out there. We got the Orioles kind of in a mixed bag game. You could have went either way in that spot, but I'm taking the Orioles with the minus 110. And then in the finale here in Anaheim tonight, I'm taking the Red Sox with the plus 1.5, going against a team that's lost 14 in a row, but you just can't take the bet in the sense to where, okay, I think that that this will be the night that they win. I'm looking at it in the sense that if they win, it's going to be really close. But I know that I'm giving up a lot of juice to do the plus 1.5 on the Red Sox, but I just feel like we safe here with that play as well too. So there it is. 65-1 on the MLB PrimeTime PK6 parlay. So you guys, at the end of the day, I want to thank you so much for tuning in today. And you guys also had a replay as well too. So if you didn't get to watch the show live, it's all good. You got all day. You got until about 3-4 o'clock to get your plays in and everything like that. I'm going to go ahead and make sure that this is on the IG today. I wasn't able to get the last show on the IG. I was a little busy that day. But today, I'll have make sure it's on the IG. You guys can catch the show also on, as you guys know, YouTube, on the Prime Wave Media page. Also, you guys can catch this on my Twitter as well too, at PopDiBiase. So you guys are the absolute best. I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in as usual. And as I always say, bet with your head, not with your heart. The movement is moving, and this is the premier sports betting show, the PrimeTime Angles Live, with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the primetime capper, and I am gone.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.